Hi guys. It's been a couple of weeks since I've posted anything. Today I'm making this video in regards to phrenology, which was a pseudoscience in the mid 1800s. Phrenology studied the cranium or skull and tried to find patterns that would differentiate groups of people. So in order for whites to continue with slavery and then later on segregation, whites, along with scientists, put time into trying to find the differences in the skull patterns of whites, blacks, Native Americans, and I'm not sure what the fourth group was. It's been a while. This was actually a part of one of my master classes where we did several readings from JSTOR has articles and of course a book that costs $48, which I'm not going to buy because I've done this, research, or I've read many things in regards to it. But there are, peer-reviewed articles and journals that are available for purchase and or review. I haven't found things that are free. I'm still kind of looking, but this has been something that I've been thinking about lately. And I was trying to get back into it and, see what it was that I was studying at the time. So more or less, this is like a history lesson. So our history is very diverse, and we only, in high school, not even middle school anymore, they barely start teaching social studies like in 5th grade. And we have so much history to cover, and we just don't cover enough of it. But anyways, phrenology is a pseudoscience, so it's not necessarily supported as a science itself, okay? Phrenology was, again, motivated by whites to remain in power, okay? And so that they could support or say, well, these studies say that blacks are inferior or that Native Americans are inferior. And so I am going to leave an article. It's not huge. It's from Vassar College. It's from a blog. There's lots of different things that you could probably go and search for. But I'm just going to read a little piece of it to you. And why is this important? Because our history pushes us forward into developing our ways of thinking. And so sometimes people don't understand that they think a certain way because of these ideas that were pushed through the ages that aren't true. So the pseudoscience of phrenology, the study of skull shapes as an indicator of mental abilities, was founded by German physiologist Franz Joseph Gall in the early 1800s. Gall claimed that the brain has multiple organs that each correspond to different mental traits or abilities. Because the human skull is shaped as it is because of the brain, he claimed that the study of the shape, size, and geography of the human skull could yield information about these organs and consequently the mental capacity of a person to whom it belonged. This field of study was based on faulty science, in which evidence that helps prove a researcher's hypothesis is taken into consideration. When the pseudoscience spread to the US around the 1830s, it was used to prove prevalent yet baseless hypotheses about the inferiority of non-white races. And so this wasn't just done in America, it was also Great Britain, it was any of the colonial countries trying to push, just like in South Africa, apartheid. Why is it appropriate for whites to be in power and then create all of these, communities where blacks are in one section, coloreds are in another, and then natives or Indians are in another? So all of this division happened early on, and the systemic racism that people are talking about right now has to do with that. So it's like, okay, we have all of these things that were separated. Now, as a person who lives in, the present, am I responsible for those things that happened back then? No. But am I responsible for knowing what happened and possibly learning what we could do better so that those communities that were divided out in that time don't live at a disadvantage because of it. So the idea of phrenology, I just wanted to share, is one of the things that happened as racism was being, negated by liberals and saying, no, the science, it's, the civil rights of the era was coming through, and people were saying, well, no, blacks do deserve rights. They do deserve to vote. They don't deserve to be slaves. They don't deserve to be treated this way. And so people tried to find an antithetical argument, of course, to say, no, we do need slaves. And so that is something we need to consider. The history of our nation, the history of our colonialism. We don't have to take fault for it, but it's important that we look at it and say, how can we make sure that we do better? So I implore you to do some research in the idea of phrenology, and maybe it will kind of show how people get into a realm of thinking this way, and how it's still a persistent problem that we're dealing with in the US. My goal is just to share this information so that you get a chance to think about it. And again, this is for the Unpacking My White Privilege. This was a part of, the whole process. This took years of reflection and ratings and all sorts of things. So a caveat, I don't want anybody to think, well, some people are like, well, people who have higher education are snobs and look down upon people who don't. That is not the case for me. Okay, there are highly intelligent people who can outwit me, who can outtalk me, who have certain abilities that I don't have, and who have thought about all of these things as well. My concern whenever I do talk to people is, have you read about it? Have you thought about it? Or are you just restating something that somebody else said? Or are you just restating something that you were told since you were young? And those are things that I've had to push through to progress, or to say, okay, yes, there are problems we need to address, and how are we going to work towards doing that? So I'm going to leave this article here for you guys to read if you're interested. If not, that's fine. So I hope that you guys have a great day. Take care.